What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for League of Vermillains on Donny Vermillion. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Donny Vermillion, the best map in the game, is where we have to gather 20 xenon crystals and return them to the stabilizer in the middle of our base. The crystals appear once lava recedes from the low ground. But we need to flee to the high ground while the lava is up. Enemy heroes spawn with attack waves and get stronger over time. Enemies also teleport when they are hit.
Okay, so we have Twotuuu and Sticksbender in the call with us today. Twotuuu and Sticksbender, how are you guys?
It's
Okay, so Twotuuu, how will we rank the commanders this week?
so it's basically heroes from the storm. The evasive maneuvers only affect the regular units and not the heroes, so the heroes won't blink.
Yeah.
But the thing is, heroes, they'll come out like 4 or 5 at a time. So commanders who can deal with that many heroes at once will get a higher ranking than those who can't.
Okay, how about you, Sticksbender?
The other note is that there is a bit of randomness as to when it actually decides to show up with a whole bunch of things versus
That's correct.
not.
Yeah.
So as a result, it's kind of useful if you're able to have something that is resilient to a wide array of possibilities, basically. Because what can happen is that it could be that you start seeing just a couple heroes every single wave from the third wave onward, or it could be that the game just decides it's not going to do any of them until like 11 minutes in, and then it's going to send 5 every single wave for the next 3 waves, and you're going to suffer.
From the games I've played, the latter is like 70% more likely, or actually 80% more likely than the former.
It depends, like how late it goes. The latest I've seen, it's been like, wow, we've got like almost 15 crystals and we haven't seen the second hero yet. And then there was heroes every single wave.
Yes, that's kind of how it happens for me every
and it
time.
was 5 of them every single wave. But basically what's random is like, will you end up with like 10 crystals, 5 crystals, 15 crystals, somewhere in there?
I think
probably around 10.
I think what determines that is the waves that ride by transport don't have heroes. So the heroes for that wave is accrued to the next wave spawns on the map.
Yes, this is correct. The problem is that because the wave timings are randomized on this map, and because they send in transports because there's lava when they actually spawn the wave, that means that what happens is that it is random whether or not it's in transports or not.
Yes. Anyway, let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
Abathur, he's okay because he has his Vipers. So what you want to do is get 3 Brutalisks and then Vipers with max energy or max biomass. You gotta turn off the auto morph to Leviathans. After you get like one or two Vipers, then you get 3 Leviathans and probably want Guardians. I tried Swarm Host, and Swarm Host, what happens is the enemies blink around. Even though the heroes don't blink, the enemies blink around and they kind of get like
target Swarm Hosts.
They get swarmed over. They get swarmed.
Yes.
And it kind of sucks. If you can't mass enough of them, they're not really good. So I think Guardians are better.
Okay.
Because of Vipers, eventually, after you get a big army, you just keep making more and more Vipers so that you can keep blinding cloud everything. I put him in A.
Okay. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah, pretty much makes sense. Abathur's going to have a relatively easy time. Honestly, there's an argument for S. He's got, like, Ultimate Evolution plus Viper is just a really, really strong showing.
Okay.
I would say.
All right, both of you have an A. Let's put him in A. I actually had him in C because of, well, every time I play Abathur, I get Terran, so I pretty much never get any Ultimate Evolutions. Every time I play Abathur, I get Terran.
I mean,
every
as we established with how late the heroes show up, you don't even need to actually care about hitting the enemy bases to be able to get Ultimate Evolutions in time for heroes. And also, there aren't even bunkers on this map.
Everything's on the high ground, though.
Yes, but that's the case regardless of what race it is, so...
But anyway, we've already put him in A, so let's put him in A. Alarak, where do we have him?
Ascendants are good, summarily. You click on heroes, they explode. You do have to worry about evasive maneuvers dumping units on top of you, so you have to be careful about not losing your ascendants to evasive maneuvers, whatever the enemy comp is, like Banelings or Mech Terran with Vultures or Hellions or whatever they might jump on top of you. However, other than that, the heroes themselves aren't really the problem. It's just evasive maneuvers being a problem. So A makes sense because, as we established, Evasive Maneuvers is like the sideshow. The heroes are the real threat.
Okay, how about you, Twotuuu?
What happens with Alarak is if you don't survive, like it's if you don't kill them, your whole army dies because the heroes are extremely strong. And if you like if you're fighting Nova and you don't control well, she's gonna snipe all your valuable units. I guess it kind of depends when the second wave comes, because if you have enough time to build up, you might survive. But if they come at like 9 minutes with 4 heroes, which happens
all the time for me,
probably dead.
All the time for me.
You're probably dead. Like you can't fight that because you don't have enough stuff at that point. You can overcharge a lot of stuff and probably empower me, but you might just get run over. So I put him in B.
So what do you think, Sticksbender?
So firstly, Nova's snipe will trigger on supplicants though. So she will literally snipe supplicants. So if you have enough supplicants, it's not like she actually has anything in her AI to make her target fire the ascendants over the supplicants necessarily, at least to my knowledge. So basically you have the time to just mind blast her repeatedly in the face. And basically, yes, if you don't kill the heroes, they kind of run over you. Why aren't you able to kill the heroes? Because it's not like there's anything making them tankier.
At that point, you don't really have a lot of 10 stack ascendants yet.
Well, you don't need 10. See, we already established you're at like when they actually send more dudes, we're at like 10 minutes maybe. You have Empower Me off cooldown for that, so especially you have quite a lot of damage to work with. But you should be able to have like 10 ascendants with like 2 stacks, and that's already going to be 300 damage per mind blast. The heroes only have like a couple thousand hit points, like 2,000 hit points, 3,000 hit points on the tankier ones. So as a result, you could just mind blast through them.
That's assuming that all the rest of the wave doesn't teleport on top of your ascendants, which I think everyone already knows. Ascendants have the highest priority of any copy in the game.
No, they have a 10th the priority of the Oracle. We all know that already. Ugh.
All right.
I think they have a lower priority than medics too. Honestly, Ascendant priority feels really not that high when I'm using them.
Oh my goodness.
My experience.
The enemies, every time I play Alarak, the enemies target the Ascendants first, even over my allies' units.
Oh, all right then.
I'm watching someone else's run. At 10 minutes, this guy has 7 ascendants. He used Empower Me, Overcharge, and still lost almost everything. Had to drop a mothership to finish the heroes because he killed Nova first, and he still couldn't finish him off. He killed the wave first. It's just like if you don't have that good control, you're just gonna not live.
Nova's wave also has Dahaka, who is pretty strong in his own right, and Karax, who can be annoying to deal with. So is B okay?
Yeah, okay. B is fine.
I actually already considered B a compromise. I had him in C. My tier is very C heavy because the heroes are very strong. Anyway, let's have him in B.
Heroes are very strong.
Which prestige? We recommend the third one, Shadow of Death?
Well,
or a second one. So we have better Empower Me.
Well, no. The consideration was P0, so you have
no prestige.
A mothership top bar.
Okay.
So you could just drop a mothership on top of the enemy wave when it's needed.
Okay, so no prestige or third prestige?
No prestige probably.
Oh, what do you think?
So you can have a free mothership for the big scary 10-minute wave.
No prestige to 2?
I think
or third?
Either one.
Either one.
I think either one is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, either one.
Okay. So either no prestige or third prestige. Both should work. Let's move on. Artanis, where do we have him?
You're missing someone.
Arcturus.
Arcturus. Okay, where do we have him?
He does his bunker thing where you just like you fill in, you make lots of bunkers spread out, and then like when your units are about to die, you move to an empty one that's nearby and you continue fighting. If the enemies are waiting for lava, you can hit them with ESOs.
That works. That does work.
That you at least weaken them. Even if you don't kill them, you weaken them.
They will blink into the lava and then they'll just not take any damage, which kind of belies how they stop for the lava when they don't take damage anyway.
The heroes won't blink, but the regular enemies will.
Yeah. The enemies. Anyway.
So Manx is similar to Alarak. It's kind of like if you don't have enough bunkers, then you lose everything. If you have enough, then you kill them like pretty easily. So I put him in B.
Okay. How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah, I would agree with that, B, pretty much.
All right.
You just need enough bunkers, and if you don't have that, then you suffer and die.
I also had Alarak similar, or I also had Arcturus similar to Alarak, but as we've established, I have a lot of guys in C. But you guys both said B, so let's put him in B. Artanis, where do we have him? Oh wait, third prestige here, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Because you have that panic button in case you get overwhelmed.
No, it's because what happens. No. It's not the panic button, because the panic button won't work. No, it's you have your bunkers and you're able to get more filled up bunkers with dudes with guns because the guns are cheaper. And now when they blow up a bunker, the bunker will explode.
Yeah, but we've already established.
If you just use it as panic button and send a whole bunch of dudes with exploding guns at the enemy, you're just gonna lose your entire army and won't necessarily
We've already established the bunker part. I'm just saying, if all else goes south, you have the panic button.
I'm saying that the panic button is the lose button against Heroes from the Storm, basically.
Well, I disagree, but we've already have him B. So let's leave it at that. Leave it at that. Artanis, where do we have him?
Yeah. So he's not great. Usually Artanis can be okay against Heroes from the Storm with Tempests, but Tempests do nothing against Evasive Maneuvers, so that's a bit of a problem.
And doing nothing is pretty painful because it has a long cooldown time, or the attacks not have a cooldown time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the cooldown on their attacks is longer than the cooldown on enemies jumping around with Evasive Maneuvers, and Evasive Maneuvers just makes them invulnerable for a moment after jumping too. So, yeah, that sucks. As far as I know, the people who have soloed this have used Dragoon Reaver, and I would agree that you probably want to rely on Reavers. Yeah, we found the Reaver use case. Dragoons and Reavers. That's the way you want to do this one. Reavers are your anti-hero DPS. Dragoons are your anti-anything that isn't a hero. So it's basically just apply Dragoon Reaver to the problem and use top bar to make yourself strong enough to fight the heroes and hope it works. I feel like he's probably in like C or D tier.
Okay, what do you think, Twotuuu?
Yeah, it's gonna be Reaver, Dragoon, and throw in some Zealots for tanking. Tempests don't work, so you can use Tempest just to hit heroes, but you're gonna do nothing to the regular units, which might actually be worse. Like, because your Tempest, unless you specifically target the heroes, you're gonna like auto attack and you might shoot at things and then they'll blink away. I put them in C or D as well.
Well,
it's not very good. I would say D.
I have all the rest of my guys in C. I have like 10 commanders in C, so definitely had them in D. So C or D? You guys decide.
I think it's D.
D?
Probably D.
I don't know how enemy comp dependent he is.
Yeah. Although it is kind of funny to be like, yeah, he's probably D. Meanwhile, I'm watching this solo from him where it's like the guy just didn't bring detection, lost half his army to cloak banshees, and he still won solo with Artanis, which is kind of impressive.
That's what
lose half your army to cloak banshees for no reason and still manage to win?
That's what solos generally feel like. Probably good RNG on the heroes. Anyway, let's put him in D then. Does prestige matter, or is he D regardless?
You probably want to use P0, but P3 could work, but probably P0.
Okay then. The Haka, where do we have him?
The Haka, he's like I think he's gonna be like Abathur, where you're gonna get guardians and you tank the ground with other stuff. So he just pack leader plus guardians.
Yeah, and you can eat the enemy the Haka, so that's pretty neat.
Yes. Eat the enemy the Haka and then summon a pack leader. They'll take lots of shots from all the other ones while your guardians just poke them away.
They survive the nuke, I think.
Yeah, I put them in A.
How about you, Sticksbender?
Yeah. Probably makes sense. The Haka good.
The Haka good. Second prestige, right? Primal contender?
Yes. That's the reason we're doing the eat into disappearing off the face of the planet.
Alright, so let's put him in A. I also had him in A, by the way. Unanimous. Fenix, where do we have him?
So Fenix is another case of, wow, this guy's great against Heroes from the Storm. If only he was so great against Evasive Maneuvers. So just throwing a very angry Caldelis at it will solve the hero's problem.
Okay.
But then there's the problem of enemies teleporting around, and with the heroes being inside of a wave and that you can't kill that wave quickly and efficiently, you might end up with the heroes getting to your shell farm because you just have Caldelis and Tellus or whatever champions you're using wasting so much time on the evasive maneuvers attack wave that they can't ever actually just cut apart the heroes and deal with the problem. So that sucks. So he's definitely not S.
Definitely not S.
Could be A. I'm not sure quite how bad evasive maneuvers really is.
I guess it's
if it's really bad, he's B. But otherwise, yeah, it's kind of competent. If you aren't getting obliterated by evasive maneuvers, then what you're instead doing is getting to just say, watch as Caldelis 1v1s any hero in the entire game.
1v5. I guess not 1v5 because he just gets more and more shells.
He just comes
and
back.
Pretends he's the same
but
one.
He came back.
So letter A or B?
It's A or B.
How about you, Twotuuu?
I don't think he has that big of a problem against evasive maneuvers because like your army is basically sacrificial. So you just keep throwing at them. You might need to macro better so you always have replacements. But otherwise, you're just kind of like instead of F2, you 1A move into their army until it's gone, and you keep your shell farm a little bit farther back.
And have conservators in case stuff happens.
Yeah, I didn't even use conservators. I mean, like all the time. I think I had them at some point, and then
they're not that gas heavy.
I put him in S because he's really easy.
In S? Okay.
I put him in S, but
I thought that you would run into problems against certain comps, but maybe I'm just wrong.
I only played this once because I did it with like a random ally just sitting there. So I bought Stratotech.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty difficult.
That is an easier one, but yeah, you're probably fine. Yeah, okay. S makes sense for Fenix, I guess.
All right, let's put him in S.
It deals with the hard one easily.
I played with
the hard part so well.
I played with a Fenix ally. I wasn't that impressed, so I put him in B. But both of you guys said an S, so
did he use P2?
Yes.
If you aren't P2 Fenix, then you are like
he did use the second prestige. I don't remember which commander I played with it, but I think it definitely outperformed him. So I wasn't that impressed with Fenix. But both of you said S, so let's put an S. Hunt and Horner, where do we have him?
This is like the Manx situation, but much worse. It's like you need to be on top of everything or else you die.
That's every game.
Yeah, this one even more so because if they get to your galleons, you're going to lose everything. I think you should use P2 because air units are better than ground units since some heroes' air attacks are weaker. And Zeratul doesn't hit air, so that's also good.
Nova is the only one whose spells actually hit air. Well, okay, Kerrigan's mini nuke hits air, but, that's it.
So you would use P2 mass Reapers, actually, because Reapers deal decent damage, and they can fly for a bit. And you probably want to use top bar to get rid of the regular enemies, as many as you can, before they get close. But you have to really be on top of things. And even then, sometimes you won't be able to kill the heroes without suffering significant losses. Probably not your whole army, though, but a lot. So I put them in D.
How about you, Sticksbender?
So I would note, Reapers actually are really, really good at killing heroes because, remember, Reapers have their, 2 attacks for, 1 damage, and they attack really fast, but they don't do any damage, so armor really messes them up. Heroes don't get armor upgrades. Reapers do really well against them. So do Zerglings, but Reapers are just ranged Zerglings, right? However, the general raw strength of Hunt Horner continues to be low. Evasive maneuvers adds to the fact that they already have a hard time fighting enemy attack waves without losing stuff. Makes your strike fighters much less useful.
And your Magmines.
It's a big pain in the butt. I guess D makes sense.
All right, let's put them in D.
They'll be surprisingly good at killing heroes, though.
Which prestige?
For being D tier. You probably want P2 because, as we established, air unit's good. But if you're relying on Reapers to be your air unit, you can do fine.
Okay, let's put them in D. Karax, where do we have him?
So Karax should be pretty okay. It's just a matter of, do you know how to bait out Nova's nuke? Because everything always comes down to Nova because it's Heroes from the Storm, which is basically 50% Nova and 50% everyone else.
Is that 800 health or something? 800 health or like 4 units?
Yeah, something like that. So if you said just a couple of zealots, they walk up, they say, hey, hello, nuke us, and then everyone walks into the cannons and they evaporate, and then you win. It cannons go burr. Basically, the biggest point of failure is you fail to bait out Nova's nuke. Everything explodes. You die. If you use P1, then you at least have a little bit of safeguard from that, because now your buildings have Unity Barrier, which some of them, the Unity Barrier is going to have already been popped on stuff that isn't Nova's nuke, but it could help.
And with P1, also, your buildings truly go burr.
Yes. As soon as you hit the Chrono Boost one, especially for that 10-minute wave, you hit Chrono Boost, and then that 10-minute wave, well, there were heroes here. I'm not sure where they went, but they definitely were there.
Okay, so letter.
I'm gonna lean towards A.
Okay, how about you, Twotuuu?
Karax can defend against the heroes, but like, what would you push with? Unless you're like spreading observers and top bar, I guess. That
it also cannons.
Pushing with cannons.
The base defenses, there's basically only 2 bases that are actually well defended on this map.
The one in the center and the one in the bottom?
The one in the right, more
the
like.
right.
Yes.
The 2 ones east of your
technically,
expansion.
the one in the bottom, there is a whole bunch of hybrid behemoths there, but it's literally just a bunch of hybrid behemoths and like 4 adepts or whatever race you're against. It's kill 3 hybrid, and then you've cleared that base. So you can kind of top bar that one down efficiently, but for the most part, yeah, you can mostly get away with just cannons in relatively small quantities, clearing through everything. If you know where the hybrid are, then great, because that'll make it a little bit easier, because you know where you need to put like an extra couple cannons and then fire some energy at the hybrid. But for the most part, you can clear this map quite cheaply.
What do you have in Twotuuu?
Right. Oh, because I tried carriers. Carriers terrible. Like P2 is terrible. P2 is terrible. Like I could barely get enough carriers, and then 4 of them come at once, and then it's like I'm dead. I can't fight this. I use all my energy, all my top word, and they're still alive. I would think it's gonna be cannons, monoliths. Like you wait for them to come to you after you bait their stuff. But
yeah, I'm not sure about the offense either.
The offense is like it's like requires a lot of map knowledge. You need to know like where, how many, because if you put too many cannons forward, then they're gonna get killed by the heroes and waves, and then you won't have enough back home. So it's like you don't want to put too many forward because you want enough just to clear. But if you don't put enough, then you're gonna lose your stuff.
Yes.
So it's yeah.
You kind of allow yourself to be guided by the objective, because what you can do is basically you could actually get away with leaving a whole lot of the map just completely uncleared and still get the objective. Like people have literally done pacifist runs of this map, right, where they killed literally nothing. So if you just basically say, I will put down enough cannons to clear literally a corridor towards the crystals and nothing else, that's one way to make sure that you're not overspending on cannons.
You can even wait for the low ground crystals to spawn and wait for the lava to almost be up, at which point the wave retreats, and they'll kind of open a little window of opportunity for your worker to pick up the crystal.
Yes.
Without having to actually fight the wave.
Of course, then the wave attacks into your base, but your base is where you have the big wall of cannons.
The base is where you have your cannons, but that's not every crystal. There are a lot of crystals that... actually, I think most of the crystals spawn in the high ground, so it's not that reliable.
Not really, actually.
Okay, let's say half of them. Half and half.
Low ground.
We'll
say half and half. I think it leans towards low ground crystals.
Okay, so anyway, Twotuuu, where do you have them?
I put them in B.
B. Okay, so... One guy says A, one guy says B. Is he closer to Abathur and Dahaka, or is he closer to Alarak and Arcturus?
I'd say he's closer to Abathur and Dahaka, but... Well,
is he? I would say he's closer to Alarak and Arcturus, personally.
Yeah. No, I don't think he's... No, honestly, he's not... he's definitely closer to Abathur and Dahaka than Alarak and Arcturus. It's like you put him next to Abathur and Dahaka, it's like, oh, he's kind of a ways below them. But then you put him next to Alarak and Arcturus, it's like, no, he's way better than that.
See, that's why I put those guys in like a tier, a separate tier.
There is an argument we just demote Alarak and Arcturus to C, and we put Karax in B.
I would be actually okay with that. That would look more like my tier list. What do you think, Twotuuu? Who is he closer to?
I think he's closer to Alarak and Manx, because you need to be like careful. Like right now, Alarak and Manx is like if you don't do enough, then you lose everything, kind of.
Yes.
And that's where Karax kind of feels, especially if you don't bait like, in time or something. Like if you're a little slow or you mistimed it or something.
If your macro is not on point, if you're...
I mean, any of the above, like all of them, all the commanders here will die if you don't have enough stuff prepared for the 10-minute wave. Like everyone can die to that wave. It's just a matter of...
That's true.
Abathur and Dahaka have a relatively easy time getting enough to kill it. And I think Karax is kind of the same thing, with the sole caveat of you do have to bait the nuke. But if you successfully bait the nuke from Nova, you play P1, you press the chrono wave, your buildings very aggressively
the whole thing,
the problem is gone.
Depends on knowing how to bait the nuke from Nova. And probably not getting a lot of Novas in the successive waves after like the 15-minute wave. So
yeah.
I guess they can be A, but caveat, you need to know how to bait the nuke, and you need to be kind of lucky with the heroes. So how about A star? Would that work?
Yeah. I mean, I actually kind of like the idea of just moving Karax into B, moving Alarak and Arcturus down to C.
I'm okay with that.
Because this also is kind of a hard one. Like Heroes from the Storm is just a hard mutator.
Yeah,
calling this an easy mutation isn't quite correct.
That's why I had a lot of guys in C, because heroes are hard.
Yes.
So are we okay with just putting Karax in B and Alarak and Arcturus in C, Twotuuu?
Yes.
All right, let's do that then.
I think that's actually...
Zeratul came through with his Avatar since it cast a Devolution Wave on the entire tier list.
Kind of. Let's move on. Kerrigan, where do we have him?
Kerrigan is like Alarak mix. It's even if you bait them, if you're not careful, she's gonna get whacked to death. And if she's gone, you lose more than half your power. So yeah, you probably want Mutiling for your army, and you hope that the heroes don't kill. You hope that the heroes they aren't too many at once. You can use Immobilization Wave to kill off the regular enemies and then just deal with the heroes. So I guess in that sense it's not so bad. It kind of depends what enemy you have a little. But I guess if you put all your points in Immobilization Wave, it doesn't matter too much. Most things will be dead. It's just at like 10 minutes, I don't think you can have a big enough army to fight 4 heroes. So you hope they don't come at 10 minutes. You just hope they come later. I'll put Kerrigan in C.
What do you think, Sticksbender?
Yeah, I would agree. Kerrigan in C probably is where I would place her. And the reason I hesitate slightly is because there's quite a few solos with Kerrigan, which is like, wow, why are there so many of them? But I'm thinking there are a lot of... It's like because it's special, because she's not easy.
There are a lot of Kerrigan solos regardless, because there are a lot of really good Kerrigan players. I think we can establish that. Anyway, so which prestige for Kerrigan? Third one?
3 or 0.
3 or 0. Okay.
Well, so not 2.
Not 2.
I
think your
immobilization wave to clear all the enemies, right?
Plus, blast
true. Fair enough.
Pretty good. So okay, let's put Kerrigan in C. There we go. Nova, where do we have him?
Again with really good... See, the problem with having evasive maneuvers and heroes together is that even if the heroes themselves don't get evasive maneuvers, the counter to heroes is heavy-duty weaponry, which usually runs into problems against evasive maneuvers. And Nova has the same thing. Liberators don't like evasive maneuvers, but they're great at obliterating heroes.
Okay.
So basically, the waves are going to be a pain. If it's the right comp, then you can just shotgun blast the entire wave and it's just gone, and then it's easy. If it's not, it's going to be a bit more difficult than that, but Liberators and Ravens are still good, so you should still be okay.
Still shotgun blast the wave. So.
Well, I mean, what if the wave is flying?
Airstrike.
But battlecruisers survive an airstrike. Anyways, that's besides the point. Basically, she should be fine. The caveat of if you get the wrong comp, it could be a bit painful. So
B. Is she closer to Karax than Alarak, Arcturus, Nova, or Kerrigan?
Yeah, I'd say so, probably.
Okay, how about you, Twotuuu?
I guess she is a bit comp dependent, because if you get air, then you're kind of screwed. But she does deal with all the heroes relatively easily, since
pretty well,
since she has liberators and they don't blink.
Yeah.
She also has Raven turrets, which bait out the nukes and Apocalypse like really
well.
easily. So you don't really have to do much. You just throw down like 4 turrets, and then the nukes, you'll trigger a nuke. I'm not sure if she should be in B or A. I put her in A because I think she's just really good.
Is she closer to Abathur and Dahaka than she is to Karax?
Like on offense too, like you can pretty much be anywhere on the map. You can teleport and then go back. If you're out of position, you get back in position right away. Yeah, and if you have an SAV on high ground and especially in the northeastern island, you kind of have an SAV in the back, and then if they get stuck there waiting for lava, you can just airstrike them.
That's true.
Get a few.
Plus, if your liberators are sieged and the enemy Nova decides to nuke them, you can say, "No, you don't. My army's not here. No, wait, they're back."
Speaking of that, I guess it's also if they nuke you or something before the lava goes up and then the lava passes, they probably will have it again. That's because they have it every minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a 1 minute round. That's it. It's short.
That's enough time to destroy Nova or the enemy Nova.
No, I mean like because you thought like, oh, I baited it and then the lava came and then now they'll have it again.
No, I mean when the enemy Nova reaches your liberators, she will use the nuke, the airlift, wait for the nuke to land, drop them back where they were initially picked up, and then resume hitting the enemy Nova. That'll work.
Yes, I put her in A.
Okay. The only reason I didn't have her there is because of the concern about, but what if it's an air comp? But other than that, yeah, it's basically, yeah.
I didn't have her in A because I think that I had other guys in A. My list is very C heavy, and everyone's like a tier lower than where they probably are. So, okay, let's put her in A. First prestige, right? We want lots of liberators. We want lots of freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Raynor, where do we have him?
Oh dear.
So Raynor, he pretty much has to mass spider mines and hope the enemy is ground. For offense, I'm not even sure. Like you probably have to use Dusk Wings and a little bio army. And since your units are hit scan, it's kind of okay. But if the enemy is like a heavy AOE comp, then you're gonna lose a lot of stuff. And you have to hope your minefields don't get nuked because that could happen as well.
Yes.
So there's a lot that he has to work on. He has to macro, he has to micro, he has to split army or like different. You can't just F2 because you don't want your vultures with your bio army. I put him in D.
Okay, how about you, Sticksbender?
D is too high. Have you tried this one?
No,
yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
Lila tried this one. He made it look like a complete joke. So
he's done this one. He's soloed this one and literally talked about how this was one of the most painful experiences he's had with soloing these things as Raynor.
I guess I was there with him.
That's a pretty bad sign.
Okay.
When Lila's talking about how hard this one is.
I guess it did help out with liberators. We played together. I was Nova, he was Raynor, and it helped out with liberators.
Nova, if it gets the ground comp, Nova is literally S tier, so you were probably helping just a little. Raynor will suffer. It doesn't even just have to be nukes wiping out your spider mines. An Artanis just walks up and all your spider mines are gone. Kerrigan decides to power slide through your spider mines, and by the way, she can actually kill some of them before they detonate, depending on whether the game decides it detonates first or gets hit by her power slide damage tick first. You know? So like all the heroes basically can just walk through your minefield, and you just have to hope that they die to it instead, and you just have to expect that you will lose the entire minefield every single attack wave. Clearing?
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you do that? I don't know. You're spending 100% of your money on vultures and spider mines. You suffer.
Lila used bio.
Yes, you have time to make a little bit of bio in the cracks. Just wiggle it in the cracks in between your vulture blob.
I think he doesn't use a vulture blob. I think he normally runs with 6 to 8.
It's not that many vultures because remember the reason you don't need that many vultures is because vultures build mines really, really, really fast.
Yeah.
So you don't need tons of vultures, but you need like a dozen of them, and they need to be chewing through your money, making tons of mines, and you really have to know how many mines you'll need, because if you overmake mines, you won't have any money for bio or making mines for the next wave. But if you undermake, a wave just walks over and you die.
So letter.
E, maybe F, but...
So he's worse than Artanis and Hot and Horner.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what do you think, Twotuuu? Worse than Hot and Horner?
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I don't think he's F because like he doesn't hurt you by existing, but he's really bad.
Okay.
But he's as bad as you can be without actively hurting.
Let's put him in E. I had him in C because, I was playing with Lila. Let's move on. Stet boy.
You can't use Lila as a guideline.
I don't play Raynor against this kind of stuff. He's the only one I know. Anyway, Stet boy, where do we have him?
Yeah, that's why we needed me to play Raynor against something like that for you, so you can watch me playing Raynor and see, oh yeah, sure enough, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, Stet boy, where do we have him?
Stetmann makes Zerglings. Zerglings don't care. They do not care about anything. You walk over it with Zerglings, and you get a score screen while taking a nap, and then you win. Yeah.
Yes. How about you, Twotuuu?
Yeah, same thing.
All right, unanimous
You
S.
probably add ultras later for more DPS.
Probably add more
but
ultralists.
you just
Yeah, definitely. Unanimous S. There we go. Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov, P3, mass bunkers and then queens. Good. Kind of depends on the enemy and your queen micro, because if you aren't careful or whatever, your queens will get killed by Novas, snipes. For the most part, it's pretty easy. Queens are also good because you give detection and then you can see Zeratul.
Yes.
Pushing, you just use your blob.
Okay.
I put the only issue I have is by early on you can use double call down for like 10-minute wave or something. You probably will have both.
You definitely will have both.
If you don't have enough queens, you still can't kill them. So you need enough queens by then.
So does it feel like an Abathur, or a Karax, an Alarak Arcturus Kerrigan, or an Abathur Hakanova?
It's definitely B or higher.
B or higher.
Yeah, I put him in B for now.
How about you, Sticksbender?
I didn't even have a starport when that wave showed up.
Okay.
So I don't think you need queens. You could do fine with just sheer amount of IO. See, the thing is, with all those heroes, can you kill them quickly? No. But if you spent all your money on bunkers, you will spawn hit points faster than the enemy heroes can cut through those hit points. You'll still need to use double cooldown. Yeah. But once you use double cooldown to get to just the heroes, and the heroes have burned through most of their energy bars, because by the way, the heroes do actually have finite energy bars, they're not getting through the infested on auto attacks. So once their energy bar runs out, it's just a matter of inevitability. Yeah, P3 Stukov had a really easy time with this when I did it. I did this like first try. It was easy. I still remember doing it. It was a long time ago, but it was back when like Prestige was relatively new and I was limit testing P3 Stukov. Yeah, this was an easy one to me. So I'm not 100%.
I think when Prestiges were
but
new,
he's at least A.
When Prestiges were new, I think that the cost of the bunkers was a little different. So that might factor into it.
It was it was before the Prestige patch when they changed the cost of the bunkers back to what it is now. It used to be higher.
I don't remember.
It got buffed. The only change that happened anytime within the same time scale, like the last time that bunkers got nerfed was years ago. That's the last time infested bunkers got nerfed. Many years ago.
Okay.
Long before Prestige was.
I mean, let's be honest. The Prestige patch also came years ago.
Yes, but like, you know, the nerf to bunkers was like.
I'm just saying the years
more than
ago
half a
doesn't
decade
really.
ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Anyways.
So.
Game's old.
Letter.
I almost want to say S, but he's probably not. So A seems fine.
A seems fine. What do you think, Twotuuu? A seems fine?
Yeah.
All right. Let's put him in A. Swann, where do we have him?
Oh boy. Oh no. Swann sucks. I tried very, very hard to do it with Swann. The only solo that I've seen succeed on this with Swann was one where they literally just high rolled into, they basically completed the entire mission before it decided, oh yeah, it's right, I'm supposed to actually spawn heroes. Like they almost had completed the mission by the time it spawned heroes. And that is the only Swann solo that I know of that has succeeded on this one. Swann sucks.
How much does he suck? Letter.
E.
E. How about you, Twotuuu?
I saw that one. He didn't have any heroes until like 16 minutes because all of the attacks were drops. So he basically had like enough time to build up wraiths and do like damage, a lot of damage. If you don't have that luck,
most of the map and was maxed out before heroes decided to remember they existed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say he's bad. Yeah.
How bad? Letter.
Before I want to try because before with heroes I used floating factories and it was really good. So I want to see if that works. Just like massive factory fleet. I haven't tried it though, so I'm not sure. So for now, from what I know and what I can theory craft, it's really bad. So E.
Okay, let's put an E. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, he's actually, like, before I used to think he's not that good against heroes if you aren't good with control, because like the Haka eats you or whatever, you don't throw your SAM grenade quickly enough. But I played this 3 times. So I beat this 3 times. One, because I beat it and then my replay got desynced.
Oh.
Then the second one, I didn't get the bonus. So I'm like, I accidentally turned in the last crystal. So I'm like, I'm going to get the bonus. So I played it 3 times and it was not that bad. So as long as you are good with the SAM grenade, you get the stun upgrade, then the damage upgrade, and then you get other gear.
Yes.
As long as you get that, it's not that bad. You don't even need the 4th and 5th heroes to do anything. They just exist to give damage buffs. I put them in A.
Oh wait, how about you, Sticksbender?
I am actually curious which prestige that we're using on Tychus. It is P2, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured. And yeah, it makes sense. Sam is quite good against heroes, as it turns out, believe it or not. Yeah.
Okay, so when you have the 2nd prestige, how do you engage the waves? Do you have like heroes, your champions, your outlaws coming from different angles or something?
First, Tychus goes in, he throws a grenade, and then an Odin comes down and then nukes them.
So you wait for the Odin to engage, and then you have Sam fighting the heroes, and the Odin...
For the big, scary waves, yeah, you just use Odin and obliterate it from orbit.
And you have like 2 angles, so you have Sirius throw turrets, run back, Sam comes in, throws his grenades.
So it has to be multi-angular and... micro. Okay, that's A.
Honestly, if you just do for most waves, like for pretty much every wave except for the 10-minute one you might not be ready for, and then you just throw the Odin at it. It's Sam walks up. He has a super cloak. It's a temporary super cloak, so it's only on a duration, but it lasts long enough that you walk up under super cloak, you drop your mines onto the heroes, you run away, and you let another hero finish off the wave. The end. Like that'll work.
Okay. I mean, it sounds
waves,
it sounds really effective.
You have the Odin.
It sounds really effective. I'm just I'm a bit cautious about whether I should put a star or not, because yes, it's effective, but it's a lot of control. It's a lot of
my point is, it's not that much control, because it's literally you walk up with Sam, you walk away with Sam.
I mean, it's not
moving outlined.
That's come on, that's a bit disingenuous. That's not the only micro you need to do. You still need to target the hero. You still need to have Sirius coming from a different angle.
No, you don't need Sirius and Tychus to both fight together. You don't. That's my point.
What were we gonna say, Twotuuu?
You don't have to control both at the same time.
So no star needed.
It's like you throw in the grenade, you teleport them out. Then while the wave is continuing, like they're walking to you from somewhere else, you can just walk Sirius up next, throw grenades, or walk Tychus up and fight. Or like, yeah, you don't have to. The areas are pretty small, so you can't really come from different angles anyways. I mean, you can if you place them correctly, but if you don't, it's still not a big issue.
Not a big issue.
Plus, Odin doesn't count towards the
lone wolf.
Yeah.
So you can have the Odin fight alongside an outlaw.
So you just drop the Odin, and then Sirius comes from behind. Since Odin is taking the damage, you just come from behind, throw some turrets, and then fight. Okay. Sam doesn't even have to be nearby.
So both of you say A?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a bit cautious about putting so many guys in A when it's here from the storm, but I digress. Vorazun, where do we have him?
The Vorazun, it's actually pretty good. Because she can crowd control heroes.
Yes.
Turns out crowd controlling heroes pretty good. Apparently some crazy person out there decided I'm gonna take P2 Vorazun and go Mass Dark Archon because they want to suffer, I guess. But yeah, basically, if you want to use P2, you can. Zealot stunning heroes, pretty cool, but you don't have to. You could just use Oracles. Oracle Stasis Ward is good, and then you have Dark Templar that actually deal proper damage, and they are also really good at killing heroes. Pretty much you can play normally or you can use P2. Either way, Vorazun's probably A, maybe B, but like she doesn't have to worry about, dodging too much the hero spells like nukes and whatnot, because you're already using an army. And not only that, if you're using Dark Templar, your army can teleport. And even if you aren't using Dark Templar, again, as I've said many times before, have a Dark Pylon on control group so you can always just leave.
Yes. How about you, Twotuuu?
You can P3. I would suggest P3, and then pretty much every wave you have a time stop. So you don't use time stop to clear anything. You just use time stop to kill the heroes. There was one time when there weren't any. I didn't have time stop, and the heroes came. So what I did was I use a black hole and then do the stasis ward trap. So it's like they were never a threat at any point in this game.
Okay.
I was never scared of any of them. And since my heroes have extra life, it's like even if I lose some, they would have a second life and come back. Also, it's like if you're fighting air, then you would make more Corsairs. If you're not fighting air, you make more Dark Templar, and then you make a lot of oracles regardless, because you can attack the heroes or make stasis wards. I put Vorazun in S.
Okay. The only reason I wasn't thinking of putting her in S is basically because I normally get, told off about, but Vorazun requires so much control. You have to micro.
It's still true, but it's Heroes from the Storm, so. Well, we already put Fenix in S.
Well, Fenix is not control. Fenix is, get him, killed Ellis. Oh, you died. Get him, killed Ellis.
If both of you are okay with S, we'll put him in S.
Also go Mass Oracle, by the way. This is an option. Instead of using Dark Templar, you could just go Mass Oracle outright.
Yeah, anyway, do you both have him in S? That's the question. Do you both have him in S?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I had him in A because all of the things you mentioned. I just was hesitant on putting so many guys in S on a mutation like this. Zagara, where do we have him?
Zagara, I actually used P0 for once.
Okay.
Because the frenzy affecting the units makes it so that you kill the heroes faster. Because with P3, you don't kill the heroes fast enough. So yeah, on P1, you don't have enough stuff.
Yes.
So I used P0, Aberration, and Lings, and Frenzy when they attack. It was alright. It was okay. Might be comp dependent though. So I put Zagara in B.
Okay. How about you, Sticksbender?
Makes sense to me.
B?
I'd also note that if you are just supporting someone else who's also playing with you, then you probably are going to be pretty helpful if they're able to handle most of it. But then there's those hero waves that have too many don't worry, I have enough Banelings for you. Don't worry, fam, I got you.
Okay.
Next out on Banelings.
So B?
Yeah, B makes sense.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, my own list is very C heavy, so I had her in C. But both of you guys said B, so let's put her in B.
Jeff her in B.
No mention of bio-launchers game, so yikes. Zeratul.
That's what you're here for.
That's what I'm here for. Zeratul, where do we have him?
Zeratul, cannons can run into slight problems because of, DPS and if the heroes get on top of your cannon field and nuke it, but practically speaking, cannons are invulnerable, as you know.
Yes.
So you should be able to just mass up cannons and be fine. It's not super easy because you could get over, but it is Zeratul, so he's very strong. So you're probably fine. They're somewhere between
A and B. What do you think, Twotuuu?
Zeratul against heroes is like fighting Nova is a pain. It's a huge pain because he gets sniped so fast. If you don't have the third fragment, then you're gonna your Dark Templar Void Templar won't have the extra life.
Yeah.
Or if you use P3, they won't have the extra life either. So it's kind of
you can trap the fragments,
a little bit difficult. Once you get to the late game with enough Dark Templar, you can just link through everything. But before then, it's kind of hard. So I would put him in B.
Okay.
That makes sense.
B for both of you?
That would make sense, honestly, yeah.
Okay, let's put him in B. With the second prestige or no prestige?
I would recommend second prestige, yeah.
Okay.
Second.
Yeah. Plus, you can do the artifact trap here. You can trap the fragments, so you can just have all the fragments spawn in the same spots, and you know where to find them. Yeah. This is very A heavy. Are we sure that Abathur, Dahaka, Nova, Stukov, Tychus are all
I feel like everyone being up on this list, I'd feel comfortable playing them against this mutation, yeah.
Okay. Who do we have? Let's go to rankings. Who's top of S?
Stetmann.
There we go.
That one's easy.
At least we're unanimous on that. After that, who do we have?
I'd say Vorazun is less comp dependent than Fenix, so maybe Vorazun.
I had Vorazun. I had Vorazun also. Yeah. Vorazun was my top of A, but obviously you guys have an S. Let's put in second in S, and then Fenix. Okay, who's top of A?
I honestly would say Stukov.
Stukov. Okay. I'm not gonna argue. I haven't played Stukov, so I don't know how he plays.
I'd probably put Dahaka next.
Dahaka next. Yeah, Dahaka was an A tier for me, so I wouldn't have any problems putting him in second.
Then maybe Nova, maybe Abathur.
And Tychus, Abathur kind of rough early on, but once
I would
get
say
enough stuff.
I would say Abathur bottom of A because he
I would kind of say Tychus bottom of A, honestly.
Tychus bottom of A?
Yeah, but I don't know how well Tychus does. Tychus is basically the only reason I'd put Tychus at the bottom of A is it's a little bit of legwork with using Sam separately from your heroes, and you can just get Reaver Disruptor enemies and then you cry, and you could, just kind of run into the problem of if the wrong outlaw dies at the wrong time, the entire thing falls apart. Like Tychus feels the most capable of running into some issues of the people in A.
Whereas Abathur, essentially you might just not get any biomass.
Well, I mean, Abathur, you'll get the biomass eventually, and the heroes, as we established, maybe you get unlucky and get low biomass early on, but then, hey, maybe the heroes just decide not to spawn until, 12 minutes in. Also, I would note, if you get Terran, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Classic Mech, while it is one of the hardest enemy comps for most people, Abathur is celebrating, because that's the most biomass-rich comp in the game.
It's just one of them, though.
In general, Terran is not that biomass poor in the waves. So yeah, he'll be fine.
What do you think, Twotuuu?
I think Abathur is the bottom of A.
I think so too.
I think Abathur's being discriminated against here, but okay.
Early game's pretty difficult for most people.
No, there were many times I played Abathur. I had to try many times to do this because I wasn't fighting Terran either. It's just early on, if you miss control or something, then you get sniped to death. Yes. Vipers miss control, you get sniped to death.
Well, if it took that much effort, then I'm not sure actually Abathur is A after all.
That's what I'm thinking right now. I don't because if they hit early on, at 9-10 minutes, you have about 3 Brutalists, maybe 1 Leviathan and a Viper, or
if
2
you're
Vipers
on point.
with full biomass.
If you're on point,
yes.
Okay, so maybe we demote Abathur altogether.
I would not be opposed to that.
All right, kick him down to B.
Okay.
He's probably top of B then, because he was A. So.
Well, actually, based on that description, I'd put him below Karax, but I would put Karax at top B.
Personally. Oh wait. Is it Tychus or Nova?
Size point.
Bottom of A. Tychus bottom of A now because Abathur's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. Top of B.
I would say Tychus is above Nova, but okay. Just
one
grenade kills the enemies.
The grenade shoots up.
Yeah. Tychus less comp dependent. Okay, Tychus above Nova. For B, Karax top of B.
I would think Karax top of B, but
or Zeratul.
Yeah, I'd say
not
Zeratul.
Not
Zeratul. So Karax top of B.
Karax.
Okay.
Then Abathur.
I have no idea how good or bad Zagara is in practice.
I haven't played Zagara on this one.
Twotuu's our Zagara expert.
She if you're P0 and you run, you can just delete waves.
Okay,
but
so
it might be comp dependent because if they're not a ground enemy, then you have to make Scourge, and Scourge don't do anything against the heroes.
It's true. Bio launchers.
Although then your banelings are just free to completely just run up to the heroes. But
I did make bio launchers.
Hey, there we go.
I don't think you made them, but I made them because
because you have to.
Because you had tons of money and no supply.
Yeah. Okay, so
kind of like that.
Okay, I guess just use Zeratul or Zagara, whoever you're more comfortable with. C.
I think Zeratul's at the bottom.
Zeratul's bottom. Okay, who's top of C?
Probably Alarak.
Alarak
top of C. Okay, yes. And then Arcturus.
After that, Manx. Yeah. Then
I'm almost inclined to say Kerrigan because with Kerrigan you can do the crystal thing more easily. You can do the wait for the wave.
No, Zeratul or Manx literally can drop workers from the sky.
That's also true. Okay. You have to maybe it's the way my hotkeys are set up. It's a lot of key pressing for me to rally the worker to the.
You could just drop a bunker from the sky and turn the dude.
Yeah, like I said, that's the same number of key presses as just rallying your enlistment center. Plus it costs 25 energy.
The worm and then not accidentally unloading the drone in the middle of an enemy base when you're trying to move Kerrigan between worms and the drone just dies.
No, you load the drone after the fight. They're just standing at the stabilizer
Unlike
deposit
Manx,
site.
that makes you move your camera.
Okay, so Just use whoever you.
They're
just
both
use whoever
very
you
good
prefer.
at getting workers to crystals.
Yeah, they're both okay. Just use whoever you prefer. Top of D, Artanis or Horner?
I think that's gonna be Artanis.
Artanis, okay.
Artanis.
Okay. Top of E. Okay, we have two E's. I had both of these guys in C for different reasons. Swann's because I haven't played him, so I don't really know how he plays. And Raynor, I had him in C because I saw Lila play, and he looked fine. But lo and behold, they're both E.
We literally, based on what we already know, Raynor is better than Swann. But if Twotuuu pulls magic miracles with flowing factories, maybe Swann would be due for promotion. But based on what we have right now, I think Swann's got to be the bottom.
Okay, that's fine. So I think, yeah, that's an okay tier list. Mine is definitely way more C heavy than this. But guys, watch Twotuuu Sticksbender's channels. I will link them down below, and I'll see you guys next time.